Hey everyone. I just got done grading and taking a look at your spreadsheets that you submitted for that EL2 assignment with the cafeteria sales spreadsheet. A number of you did a really nice job. We're going to keep going with that. We're going to keep doing some more stuff with that. But it looks like some of us ran into some difficulty. So perhaps today I just wanted to maybe review a little bit and help some of you along the way to try to figure out what we're doing. Right. I am going to kind of talk a little bit about some of the things going on the spreadsheet, maybe remind you about some things we put on the video the other day. Unfortunately, right now I'm working on, not fortunately, but I'm working on two monitors right now. So I'm going to be not facing the camera while I talk to you. I'm going to actually turn to my right, your left, to be able to look at what I'm doing. So you're going to see this out of my head for a little bit. So if we look over here at the spreadsheet that we worked with, okay, and I just took a quick screenshot of all the questions that I had asked you so I can have them all in one shot. Maybe a couple of things to keep in mind while you're working with the formulas here. Number one, if you want the spreadsheet to actually do math, you need to start with an equal sign, right? Equals 3 plus 5, or 3 plus 45, right? If I actually now hit enter on this, it will actually calculate the value for me. If I just do this, 3 plus 45, and I hit enter, it's going to leave it there like text. So please make sure that when you start your formulas, start them with an equal sign. Okay. For some of you, you may have done that, left the equal sign off. That's fine. But if I come back into the formula here, if I just click on the cell where I have the formula, up here at the top in the formula bar, you'll see there's the equation, right? So here's how you can tell the difference between a 48 that has just been typed there and a 48 that has actually been calculated. All right, so please make sure as you're going forward, make sure you put an equal sign in. Okay. The other thing we talked about the other day is that you can actually use the cell references in your formulas. Remember, we talked about the name of each cell. Let me see if I can draw on the if I can draw on the screen here. If you remember, all of our columns are labeled with a letter, and all of the cells the rows are labeled with numbers. Okay. So if I want to look at the cell this cell here where product is, that's cell A1. Okay, and we can refer to that. We can refer to that equals A1, right? And we can put A1. We can put references into our formulas. Okay. We said the other day that the really nice thing about this is that when you do that, so I'm going to do in this cell equals A1 plus, oops, sorry, I'm going to do this, C2 equals C2 plus 100. It gives me 350. The nice thing about this is it took whatever the value in C2 was and added 100 to it. And if you look here, actually, the nice thing about this is when you use cell references, it actually winds up color coding the cell reference for you and then shows you where that value is coming from. It's a really nice way to be able to check your work. The nice thing about this is that when we do cell references, it's always going to pick whatever value is in that cell and bring it into the equation. Okay, so for the sake of argument, I change this to be from 250 to be 500. Watch my formula here in E11. The formula will update itself because no longer is it doing 250 plus 100, it's doing 500 plus 100. Okay, so when you're doing formulas, I really, really like using the cell references whenever I can. The number is already on the spreadsheet. Why don't we let the spreadsheet use them? The cool thing about this also, which we'll see later, is that if you write your formulas to include cell references, if at any time any formula in the spreadsheet uses that cell and you change the value in C2, all of those formulas get updated down the line. So get in the habit of using the cell references as much as you can. Is there going to be a time where like maybe in this instance where I do want to take whatever C2 is and add 100, is it okay to use the 100 in there? Sure it is. But but you'll find that there'll be some times where cell references are most likely appropriate and sometimes where maybe numbers would work too. In our cases here, we are going to try as much as we can that whenever you write a formula, use the cell reference going forward. Okay, whenever you possibly can, try to use the cell reference. So I'm going to take a look at this first question here. For those of you who maybe had some difficulty with this, the first question asks, add together the number of hamburgers sold on Monday, the cookies sold on Wednesday, and the curly fries sold on Friday. My real question here is, where are these values on the spreadsheet? That's the first question you should ask yourself is, all right, if I need to find the hamburger sold on Monday, where is that on the spreadsheet? So hamburgers sold on Monday is here. And cookies sold on Wednesday is here. And curly fries sold on Friday, is here. Okay. So now the question becomes, if that's where the information is coming from, how do I put that formula together? Okay. I'll do it here where I asked you to do it. Start with an equal sign. That's going to let the spreadsheet, please do this math for me. Okay. So where is hamburger sold on Monday and what cell? That's cell C2. Remember, you have two options when you want to put references in here. You can type them, just type them with your keyboard if you like. Or after you've hit the equal sign, if you click on the cell, it will grab the cell reference for the formula. So there it is. It put in C2. And I'm adding these together plus the cookies on Wednesday. That's in cell E5. Plus the curly fries sold on Friday. Curly fries, Friday, that's in cell G8. Okay? So there it is. C2 equals C2 plus E5 plus G8. And when you hit enter, you'll see you get 1275. I'm just going to blow this up for you. Okay. Oops, sorry. Equals C2 plus cookies on Wednesday and curly fries on Friday. Okay. There it is, equals C2 plus E5 plus G8. Oh, good, I got it right. Okay. So as you go through the rest of these questions, I want you to look to see, all right, all the values I mentioned in the questions, where do they come from in the spreadsheet? Go find them. And that is probably going to be the clues to what cell should I put into the formula. Okay. Cool. If for whatever reason you want to, and I'll take this for a second. I'm going to change the answer to this question here, right? Let's say I change it to here, equals C2 plus E5 times G8. Please remember that all of your formulas use the order of operations, PEMDAS. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Remember that from algebra class. They use PEMDAS very exclusively. So if for whatever reason you want to control PEMDAS, if you want to change the order of operations, you can. In reality, in this formula, when you write this, it's going to want to do the multiplication first. It's going to want to do E5 times G8, get you the answer, and then take that answer and add C2, the value in C2 to it. If that's what you want, great. What if I wanted to make sure the addition happened first and then the multiplication? I could come in here and edit my formula to just put in some parentheses. Anything you put parentheses around is going to happen first in the equation. So it would add C2 plus E5 first, give you that answer, and then multiply by G8. Okay, so get used to using parentheses in your equations. If you want to try to control the order of operations, use parentheses. Okay. The other thing which I think Nicole ran into, which I'll put out here for everyone. At some point, let me do this. Nicole entered a formula and it said true or false. Okay. We're not going to talk a lot about this, but I'll tell you what's going on here. If I look at the formula I just wrote, usually inside of any of the formulas we're going to talk about right now, we'll only ever have one equal sign. And it usually almost always starts the equation. Okay. Later on, we'll get to some other things down the road where you might have more than one. But for our cases right now, we're only ever going to have one equal sign in the equation. Okay. When you do something like this, if I write equals C2 equals D2, what this is really asking, here's the real formula. It's really asking, is the value in C2 equal to the value in D2? That's what it's really asking. Is C2 equal to D2? And in this case, is 500 equal to 160? No, it's not. When you hit enter, you get false. It's going to give back a true false statement there. Okay. If I change this, is C2 equal to C2? Will let me do that? It will. In that case, C2 is equal to C2. True. Or I'll do this. Is C2 equal to E5? C2, E5, yes, they are. That'll return true to you. So if you ever type anything in here and it comes back with true, false, unless I tell you otherwise, chances are I want you to go back into your formula and I want you to double check you've only put one equal sign in your equation. Okay. Remember, if you want to edit a formula, if I'm going to go back here and change this, if you just double click on the cell, it'll drop you right back into the formula, and then you're free to use the blinky cursor and be able to do something like that and fix your mistake on that. Okay, and maybe that was the ending there. All right, those are some of the major comments that I had for everyone on your sheets. I want you to pay attention as I return things to you over these next couple of weeks, however long this is going to go on for. I'm going to try to, if you got things right, great, I'll tell you that and I'll send it back to you. If you got some things wrong that I'd like you to maybe take a look at again or revisit, I'll leave comments right there in Classroom, and I will most likely return the spreadsheet to you without a grade. And I will probably say in the comments there, hey, please take a look at this and resubmit. Okay. So I want you to pay attention to that. If I ever return something to you without a grade, the chances are means there are questions I'd like you to answer about the spreadsheet before we go forward. Okay. I will give you the opportunity to make things up. If it's not right the first time, no worries. That's fine. For some of this stuff, we're practicing. Especially this is the first time some of you wrote some formulas. No worries. But if I do kick something back to you and say, hey, can you take a look at questions 1, 2, and 5? I want you to do that. Fix them and then resubmit them, and we'll go from there. Okay. I will get alerts. I get alerts on my phone. I get alerts on my watch that tell me that, hey, someone just resubmitted something or someone has a comment. Some of you did a really nice job as you were working on this. When you had a comment, something was going wrong, you sent a message over, and that's great. And I will promise as much as I can to try to answer those as soon as I can. Okay. Thank you for your patience this week. With this conference that I was working on this past week, I haven't had a lot of time during my regular school day to be able to pay attention to my classes and to you and to my work. So I apologize for that, but next week we will get better at that. So while I'm during the school day, my attention's on you as much as possible. Okay. The one thing I need to ask you guys to do is please stay on top of your work. Okay. Some of us have not been on top of our work. And I had people over the last couple of days submitting things at all hours of the night, 11 o'clock at night, 12, 2, 3 in the morning. Not great, folks, not good. This is a lot of work for all of us. It's a lot of work for me. It's a lot of work for you, but we're all going to get through this together. Try to stay on top of things. Don't let it pile up. If you try, like I'm trying to do right now, get caught up on a couple of days worth of work, it's going to be overwhelming and you will be up till 3 in the morning. Okay. Please stay on top of things. Get up, log into your computer, be ready to go for like 8:15 in the morning, and try to treat this like a normal school day. And then hopefully by the time 3 o'clock rolls around, we'll be good to go. As I record this, it's now 4 o'clock. So I would like to be done on a Friday afternoon and maybe go relax a little bit. It's been a very long week, busy week. All right. I will probably not post anything for you to work on Monday. This will be today's class. If you haven't already answered the question that I put on Classroom today, please make sure you do that. And I will definitely have something for you to look at for Monday. Okay. Try to relax. Have a good weekend. If you have a moment to get outside and just get some fresh air, please do that. Taking all the precautions that the government and the CDC has put out for us, but try to take a break this weekend and decompress a little bit and get ready for next week. Okay. If you have any questions, please feel free to drop some comments into anything that's on Classroom, and I'll try to respond to you as much as I can. Shoot me an email, whatever I got to do. Okay. Awesome. Thanks, guys. Have a good weekend. We'll talk to you on Monday.